I am at New York City's LaGuardia Airport. This airport just went through a $8 billion redevelopment with a modernization of Terminal B and Terminal C. My experience flying in and out of it was pretty good after this rebuild. However, that's the experience inside the airport terminals. For transportation to and from the airport, not so much. The major transit options at LaGuardia Airport is the Q70 and M60 buses. The Q70 Select bus service will take you to Jackson Heights, where you can transfer to the E, F, M, R, and 7 trains. Overside, where you can transfer to the 7 train or Long Island Railroad. The M60 Select bus service takes you to Astoria, where you can transfer to the N and W trains, as well as 125th Street in Uptown Manhattan, where you can transfer to a variety of subway lines. Besides these 2 select bus services, LaGuardia is also served by the Q48 bus to Flushing and Q78 bus to Rego Park. While the Q70 and M60 buses have fewer stops and are aimed to quickly take you to the subway and LIRR stations, it was overcrowded every time I used them, and with the traffic on Grand Central Parkway, the trip may take longer than what is advertised. And if you think driving to the airport will be easier, think again, as you likely also need to use the Grand Central Parkway. So if the bus is stuck in traffic, so will your car. But planners did not forget about connecting LaGuardia Airport with trains. In 2015, then Governor Andrew Cuomo proposed the Airtrain LGA plan, a people mover similar to what we see at JFK. The Airtrain LGA will run eastwards along the Grand Central Parkway to Mansfield Point and connect with the 7 train and Long Island Railroad. The initial estimated cost of this project was $450 million, but the price tag later grew to $1.5 billion. In January 2017, the Airtrain LaGuardia project was included in the Port Authority's 10-year capital plan. Construction was to start in 2019 and would open in 2023. That obviously didn't happen. Cuomo resigned in 2021, and his successor, Governor Kathy Hochul, paused the Airtrain project while asking the Port Authority to look into alternative plans. In March 2023, the Airtrain LaGuardia project was officially cancelled as the cost has ballooned to $2.4 billion. For most transit projects, transit advocates would get mad and fight to save it when it is cancelled, but Airtrain LaGuardia seems to be an exception. In fact, this project has been controversial and opposed by many transit advocates, including myself, from the beginning. And the biggest issue I have with this project is where it will end, here at Mansfield Point. Instead of heading west towards Manhattan, the Airtrain would bring passengers away from it, giving it the name the backwards Airtrain. Not only would the Airtrain not save any time for LaGuardia passengers compared to existing options, it would also overcrowd the 7 train, which is already a very busy line. And if you ask me the LIRR, the frequency is way lower than the 7 train over there. So to me, the Airtrain LaGuardia project is just Cuomo's pet project, and it's a waste of money. So now that the Airtrain plan is cancelled, what's next? Well, a much better and more logical plan for serving LaGuardia with trains has been around way before the Airtrain plan existed. Instead of a people mover to Willets Point, this plan involves extending the subway from here, Denmark Boulevard in Astoria. Yes, you guessed it, it's a plan to extend the Astoria line to LaGuardia Airport. First proposed back in 1943, this plan has been more popular than the Airtrain plan. There are many variants of this plan, including branching off from Astoria Boulevard and extending from the current terminus at Denmark Boulevard. I prefer the second one as it won't create an odd one-stop branch. Under this plan, the Astoria line will continue north on an elevated structure along 31st Street and turn east onto 20th Avenue. From there, it has to curve south before turning east towards the airport. The reason for this alignment is FAA has restrictions on at or above grade structures near the runway, and there are 90-year-old sewer and stormwater pipes underground in the area, so we need to curve around the restricted areas and water pipes. I propose stations at 36th Street, Hazen Street, 88th Street, LaGuardia Airport Terminal B, and Terminal C. Shuttle buses to Terminal A will be provided at 88th Street. Credit to Van Schnickeragan for coming up with this alignment. The Astoria line extension is a way better option in many ways. Instead of backtracking to Mansfield Point, this extension will have a more direct route and provide a one-seat ride to Manhattan. Furthermore, instead of only serving airport passengers, this extension would also have stops in neighborhoods that currently have poor transit access. Though to make this extension more efficient, some de-interlining work will be needed. Notice that I said Astoria line extension instead of N-train extension? That is because instead of sending the N-train to LaGuardia Airport, I prefer sending the R-train, meaning the N and R trains will be swapped in Queens. N-train will run to Forest Hills 71st Avenue via the 63rd Street Tunnel and QBL local tracks. R-train will run to Astoria Ditmars Boulevard and eventually to LaGuardia Airport via the new extension. The W train will be eliminated. To further boost capacity and eliminate delays, I would also de-interline DeKalb Junction using the Vansh-Nicaraguan and Uday Shell's plan with R trains running down West End to Coney Island. A switch will be needed at 36th Street for R trains to access West End from the local track. The reason for sending R to Coney Island instead of Bay Ridge is because it will need a replacement yard, as it isn't going to Forest Hills anymore. According to Vansh-Nicaraguan, de-interlining DeKalb and sending the R via West End will allow it to run at 21 trains per hour, which equals to a train every 3 minutes. With CBTC signals, it will be able to run 30 trains per hour, but that hasn't happened yet, so I'll use 21 trains per hour for now. As an optional addition, a yard could be built in Astoria. This yard will be needed if R trains still terminate at Bay Ridge 95th Street, but since R trains will run via West End to Coney Island, it will have yard access there. So the Astoria yard may not be as urgent and can be considered later. Besides the Astoria line extension, there is another popular plan, and that is to extend the IBX from Jackson Heights to LaGuardia Airport. Vansh-Nicaraguan posted an article about this just as I was editing this video. His plan involves a branch to LaGuardia Airport and another branch to Harlem in uptown Manhattan. While I do think it should be considered, it should be a supplement route as it serves neighborhoods in Queens and Brooklyn. Since the IBX itself hasn't been built yet, the LaGuardia Airport extension may be a decade away. But when the IBX does get extended to LaGuardia, the Q70 can be discontinued or converted into a local route. Unless the IBX to Harlem proposal by Vansh-Nicaraguan gets built, I will keep the M60 bus, as it provides a direct connection to uptown Manhattan. These two rail connections and one bus connection will greatly improve transit access at LaGuardia Airport, and should be enough for many years to come. What are your thoughts on my transit plans to serve LaGuardia Airport? Share with me in the comments below. I've also made or plan to make videos on rail connections to Newark Airport and JFK Airport. Feel free to check them out. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in that video.